Until now, our API were working only in the memory. If the server stop, all data is lost. From this phase, we will use a real database. The same way it is used in the company. And you need to download MySQL Workbench. Okay. So I already have MySQL Workbench. Okay, in my machine. So I will put the download link in the description. You can install it before starting this phase. Okay. What is a database? A database stores data permanently even if the server restart. Data is safe. Okay. What is MySQL? MySQL is a relational database. Data stored in a table using row and columns. What is MySQL Workbench? MySQL Workbench is a graphical tool. It helps us to write a SQL and manage the database easily. You can search like this MySQL Workbench download. Okay, click here. Okay, and you can download from here. Okay, or if you're using like Windows 10, okay, or if you use Linux, okay, you can go and check here. Okay, if you want download, like if you have Windows, so you can download from here. Okay, so you can see I have my MySQL Workbench, this one. I need to click here. Now you can see this is our MySQL Workbench. Here I am going to write my password. I don't remember what is it. Okay, so you can see this is our workbench. So here I am going to create one database. Okay, FastAPI DB. Okay, and I also write use FastAPI here because we can use our database. Okay, I need to select from here, and here we need to click. Okay, so you can see here I have my MySQL database. I need to refresh it. So you can see you need to refresh here. Okay, refresh all, and here you got your FastAPI DB. Okay, here we are going to create tables inside this. Okay. Okay, so here I am going to paste some query. Okay, create table user. I am going to create one table. Its name is user. Okay, so I am going to create ID that should be integer. Okay, that is primary key. Okay, and I am going to write auto increment here. Okay, and name is where name is varchar. Okay, and it's I like 50 character. Okay, email also varchar. So guys, this is the data type. Okay, and we give 100 in size. Okay, and it is unique, and age is a integer here. Okay, now I am going to create one database by clicking here. Okay, this is our table, not database. Okay guys, so I'm going to refresh this. Okay, we can check in tables. Here I got my table, this one. Okay, I got ID, name, email address, age. Okay, primary key is a is a column or group of the column. Okay. Uniquely identify each row in a table and cannot be null. Cannot have duplicates value. Okay. There can be only one primary key per tables. So here this ID is our primary key. Okay. So guys, this is a table. Okay. Here we are going to store our data. Table like an Excel sheet. Okay. And it will use to store our data. Row. You can see this is the row. Okay. As of now I have null. After some time I'm filling the here every column or row with the details. Okay, so row means one record. Okay, column means one field. Okay, primary key means unique identifier for each record. Constants are rule for data. Okay, before connecting FastAPI you must understand what database and tables are, otherwise backend development feel confusing. Okay, so we will connect the FastAPI with MySQL using SQL Alchemy ORM. Okay, so guys, you can see I am going to create a project. Okay, by using MySQL database or MySQL Alchemy. Okay, so I have created these files database.py. Okay, this is our first file. Okay, and here you can see I have model.py. Okay, here we are going to write code for tables. Okay, from database. Okay, and here this is the schema. Here we are going to write pydantic schema. Okay, and this is for dependency. Okay, and this is our main file. Okay, and this is our requirement.txt. Here I wrote fast api and uv1. Okay, and this is our virtual environment. Okay, so if you don't have any virtual environment, so first of all create by using this one. Okay, let me wait. Okay, so if I'm going to deactivate this virtual environment, so you can see now I have deactivated my virtual environment. Okay, so you can create your virtual environment by using this command python -m venv. Okay, and after this, actually I already have virtual environment, so that's why I'm not going to create. Okay, after this you need to activate by using this. Okay, venv scripts and activate. Okay, so here I'm going to click. Uh-oh. So here you can see now I have activated my virtual environment. Okay, now we are going to install requirement.txt by using this command. Okay, pip install -r requirement.txt. Okay guys, I already installed everything, so that's why it is showing already installed. Before writing database code, we need to understand more important concept, that is ORM. One more important concept, that is ORM. Okay, so in Python, yes, Python can write the SQL directly, but in real project we mostly use ORM. Okay, what problem does ORM solve? Imagine you are writing SQL everywhere in your Python code. Okay, and 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 you are going to select, insert and update. Your code become messy, hard to read and unsafe. Okay, if you make a small mistake in SQL, your whole API can break. Okay, so what is ORM? ORM means object relational mapping. Okay, ORM connect Python classes with database tables. ORM connect Python classes with database. Python class become a database table and class variable become table column. Okay, so think like if you have Python class, then it will become table, I mean database table. When I create a Python object, ORM automatically save it into the database. When I read from the database, ORM convert row into Python object. Okay. Why ORM is safer? ORM protect us from SQL injection. We don't manually write SQL strings. Okay, so hacker can't easily break our database. ORM also validate data type automatically. Why ORM code is cleaner? ORM code looks like normal Python code. No longer SQL query inside the APIs. Easy to read, easy to maintain, easy to debug. Okay. And why we use SQL Alchemy? SQL Alchemy is the most popular ORM in Python. It works with MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, everything. FastAPI plus SQL Alchemy is used in real companies. This is industry standard backend stack. Okay, so in my local system, my database user is root. Okay, root, and password is 123456. In production, we never hard code password like this. Okay, I'm saying my database user is root and my password is 123456. In production, we never hard code the password like this. Okay. SQL is powerful but messy. ORM is clean and safe. Python class control database tables. Okay. Fast API plus SQL Alchemy is equals to real backend development. Now that you understand ORM, let's connect Fast API with MySQL using SQL Alchemy. Now you can see here, this is our database.py file, this one, okay, in Visual Studio. You can see here, this is our first file. Okay, so I am going to write code for here. So first of all, I'm going to import engine. Okay, so from SQL Alchemy, SQL Alchemy, okay, I'm going to import what? From SQL Alchemy, I'm going to import create engine. SQL Alchemy. Okay, I'm going to import create engine, create underscore engine. Okay, this is used to create a connection between a fast API and database. Okay, this is used to connect. This is used to create a connection between fast API and database. Okay, now after this, I am going to import session. Okay, from SQL, this one, from SQL .orm, I'm going to import session maker, comma declarative base. Okay, okay, I missed the spelling here. DECL, declarative. Okay, declarative base. So this is used for what? Declarative base class for all the ORM models, means tables. Okay, and session maker is used for create the database session. Okay, now we are going to connect our database. Okay, so here I need to write database database underscore URL is equals to, here inside this I am going to write what? Here I am going to write MySQL. Okay, MySQL plus MySQL colon slash slash here root. Okay, root is my database. I mean, this is our database username root. Okay, and password is, here you can write password. Oh, after root you can write password. So my password is 123456. Okay, here at the rate local host, and this is our database name, FastAPI underscore DB. Okay, this one our database, FastAPI underscore DB. Okay, so guys, here I'm going to create connection with our database. Okay, so here you can see engine is actually connect to the database. Okay, think of engine as fast API DB plug. Okay, so here after this I'm going to create variable that is engine equals to create engine, and here I'm going to pass this URL, database URL. Okay, now we are going to write session. Session is used to talk to the database. Okay, every API request will get its own DB session. Okay, so here I'm going to write session maker. Session local. Session local equals to session maker. Okay, so here inside this I am going to pass auto commit. Auto commit equals to false. Okay, we will manually save the data. Okay, so that's why auto commit equals to false. Here auto plus is equals to false. Okay, changes won't auto save. Okay, it should be capital F, and here I'm going to create one variable that is find equals to engine. Okay, session will use this engine. Okay, I'm going to save this. Okay, so here I'm going to explain again. Okay, here you can see I have database URL. This is the database address. It tells FastAPI which database and which user and which password to use. Okay, and here we have engine. Engine is the connection. This one, engine is the connection between FastAPI and MySQL. Okay, no engine means no database. Engine equals to DB connection. Okay, now session is used to talk to the database. Insert, update, delete, read, everything happen through the session. Okay, now you can see here this is the session. Okay, base is the parent class of the all database. Every table we create will inherit from the base. Okay, so base equals to parents of all the model. Okay, so engine means connect to the DB, session means talk to the DB, and base parents of table. So here I need to write one base class. Okay, base equals to parent of all models. Base is the parent class of all the tables. Every table will inherit from the base. Okay, I hope you got it, everything. Okay, so we are not we are not creating table here. This is the only setup for database connection. Okay, all other this is our first file. Okay, this is our first file. All other file depend on this file. Okay, all other file depend on this one. That's why database.py is always written first. Okay, so now I am going to rewrite this. Okay, and I'm going to explain everything in command. Okay, so here I need to erase this. Okay, and I paste same code. Okay, so this is our code. Okay, everything I explain in the command. Okay, if you are going to use this file, you can understand everything. Okay, I uploaded this code on GitHub. Okay, you can go and check the link in description. Okay, so with the help of it you can understand easily. Okay, this is for your explanation. Okay, that you can understand and you can explain to others also. Now we will create our database table using Python code. In FastAPI, we don't write SQL to create a table. We write Python classes and SQL alchemy convert them into a table. Database table depend on base. So we create model after database.py. Okay. Now we are going to create our model.py file. Okay. Here I am going to import SQL alchemy, import column, integer and string. Okay. First you understand this line. So I'm going to import column and data type from SQL alchemy. Okay, here I'm going to import base from database.py. This file have base, this one. Okay, where is it? So base is the parent class for all the database tables. Now I'm going to create class. Okay, here class is user class. Here I'm going to pass base. Okay, I'm going to use base from database.py. Okay, here I have base, this one. Okay, I'm going to use this here in our model.py. Okay, so this class require a database table. Okay, one Python class equals to one SQL table. Okay, so I'm going to create one table. Okay, table name in the database whatever we have. Okay, so here I'm going to create table underscore, no it's not underscore, table name underscore. Okay, is equals to user. Okay, so I'm going to create this table users. Okay, now I am going to write one line here, id equals to column. Okay, this one. Here I'm going to pass integer comma primary key. So here primary key equals to true and index equals to true. So primary id in column. Okay, it should be integer. That's why I'm going to write integer. Okay, primary key equals to true means unique id for each row. Okay, and index equals to true means it make searching faster. Okay, now I am going to write one variable, that is name equals to column. Okay, name equals to column. Okay, I am going to write string 100 and unique equals to true. Okay, here name this is the name column. Okay, I want name and string. Okay, and character should be 100. Okay, and unique, this is unique equals to true, so it should be unique. Okay, and here I'm going to write, oh, I don't need to write this unique here. Name should be like duplicate. Okay, one name, multiple person have same name. Okay, after this I'm going to create email. Okay, so here email column, I'm going to pass here a string, its length is 100. Okay, here I'm going to write unique equals to true, means email id should be unique. Okay, now I'm going to write age column. Okay, so age equals to column, I'm going to write integer. Okay guys, so what is this file? What is this file? This file define how our database table looks. Okay, so you can see I have this database. Okay, this one. Okay, and we have table id, name and email and age. Okay, so similarly I define everything here. Okay, id should be integer. Okay, and primary key is equals to true and index equals to true. Okay, and here name, this is for name column, this is for email column. Okay, name should be in string and its length is 100. Okay, email id should be in string and unique. Okay, age should be integer. Okay, so these are the columns. Okay, you can see this is our table. Okay, so this class, user base class, this class is a database table because it inherits from the base. SQL alchemy know it should be stored in a database. Okay, and this is for table name. This is the actual table name inside the MySQL. Okay, and column means each column represent one column in the database table. Okay guys, I hope you got it. Now we are going to create schema. Schema define the rule of data coming in and going out of the API. FastAPI use Pydantic model to validate request body. If client send wrong data, FastAPI automatically throw error. Okay. Remember this line, schema are for API, models are for database. Schema are for API, models are for database. They are not same. Okay. So now I'm going to write code for schema. So now I'm going to writing code for schema. Okay, so here I'm going to import from Pydantic. Okay, is there any Pydantic? From Pydantic. Okay, I'm going to import base model. Here I'm going to create a schema. Okay, so class user, I'm going to write one class, that is class user create. I'm going to pass here base model. Okay, base model, and here I'm going to write name should be in string. Okay, email should be in string. Age should be in integer. Okay, so this schema is used when client send data to the API. Okay, if you are a user or you are a client, if you are going to send the data to the API, okay, so we use this schema. Okay, and name must be string, email must be string, and age must be in integer. Okay, so this schema is used when API return data to the client. Okay, it include everything from the user create. Okay, this is user create. Okay, so here I'm going to write code for it. Class user response. Here I'm going to write user create this. Okay, and here I'm going to write id should be in integer. Okay, id come from the database. Okay, I'm going to use this class here. Okay, so this schema used when API return data to the client. Okay, it include everything from the user create class. Okay, plus id from database. Schema means what API accept and return. Okay, what API accept and return. Model means how data is stored in a database. Okay, so after schema, we are going to write code for dependency.py. Okay, so every API needs database connection. We should not open and close database manually in every API. Okay, fast API give us depend to do this automatically. This function gives database session to any API that need it. Okay, now I am going to write code for this. Okay, so this is our code. Okay, here from database I am going to import session local. Okay, and here you can see this is the function define get db. Okay, this one. Okay, this is the function name that we create a database session. Okay, this function create a database session. Okay, db equals to session local. Okay, it is used for open the database connection. Okay, here I'm going to use try and finally. Okay, and here yield db means give the db session to the API, and db.close means always close db after the request. Okay, so fast API open database here. Okay, by using this and give it to the API and close it automatically. Okay, because of dependency we get clean code and no memory leak and reusable database logic. Now I am going to create code for man. Okay, man.py. So here I am going to import from FastAPI. From FastAPI I am going to import FastAPI. Okay, and here from database this file I am going to import engine. Okay, from database I am going to import engine, this one, and I am going to import model, this one model. Okay, so here engine I import engine means connect to the MySQL. Okay, and model means all ORM table. Okay, all ORM tables definition. So here I'm going to create app equals to fast API. Okay, so this is used for create a fast API. Okay, now I am going to create model models dot base dot metadata dot create underscore all. Here I am going to pass blind equals to engine. Okay, so this line tell SQL alchemy, this line tell SQL alchemy, okay, take all the classes that inherit from the base and create table from them in a database. Okay, so from database I use this, okay, from database engine. Okay, so engine means database connection. First, if I use this engine to talk to the myself, my MySQL. Okay, and if I import model. Okay, so this import all our table classes. Okay, if you don't import model, table will not be created. Okay, no model, I mean no import model. Okay, then no table. Okay, this one base means parent of all table. Okay, parent of all table. Metadata means information about the table. Okay, create means create the table. Blind equals to table, sorry, blind equals to engine. It means what? Use MySQL connection. Okay, so this convert Python class into the real MySQL tables. Okay, now actually I already created one table manually, so I want to delete this table. Okay, 1 minute. This is a table user. I'm going to delete this. Okay, drop table. Yes, drop. Okay, now we can run our code and then we can see that it is created table or not. Okay, so here actually I deleted everything. Okay, now you can see I don't have any table inside this. Okay, now I am going to run command. Okay, uv-man f hyphen reload. Okay, actually I don't have any table. Okay, I already said that. Now I'm going to run this. Okay, I got error app not found in man. Okay, but I already have app. Mm, okay, now I got error no module name SQL Kemi. I need to install MySQL Alchemy. Okay, so here I need to install this MySQL Alchemy and by MySQL. Now, okay, I can clear this. Again, here I'm going to write this command. Save this file and hit this command pip install -r requirement.txt. So okay guys, here I'm going to clear this. Okay, after installing everything from requirement.txt, I'm going to check this. Okay, I did one spelling mistake here. Okay, unique, it should have q also. Okay, and I need to check this also. Oh, I also did here mistake. It should be what? Okay, now I am going to run. Okay, so here now we are going to move here in our database. Okay, so we can check. I'm going to refresh it. Okay, now you can see I got my user ID. Okay, and I got ID number, name and email automatically. Okay, so we did not write a single SQL query. Okay, but still a table is created. Okay, this is why ORM is powerful. This is why ORM is powerful. Model define the table and create all, build them. Okay, so this is okay for learning. In real project we use migration like Alembic. Okay, so we will learn that later. Okay, now I am going to use CRUD operation. Okay, so CRUD API always go inside the main.py file. Okay, because this file define our routes. Okay, CRUD means C. CRUD means C create. Okay, C means create. Okay, so if you are going to create something, then you need to use post API. Okay, or if you want to read something, then you need to write get API. Okay, if you want to update something, then you need to use put. If you want to delete something, then you need to delete API. Okay, so we already know HTTP methods. Now we are going to combine them with database. Okay, so here I already import fast API. Now I am going to import depends, and here HTTP request, HTTP exception. Okay, and after this I am going to import from SQL Alchemy. Okay guys, so here I'm going to import here. I need to remove this two line. Okay, I'm going to import this. Okay, from fast API import fast API depends on HTTP exception. Okay, and from SQL Alchemy I'm going to use session SQL alchemy.orm. I'm going to import session. Okay, and here I'm going to import schema. Okay, this file schema, and here I use session and schema, and here from dependency I'm going to import getDB. Okay, from dependency I'm going to import this getDB. Okay, so we import 2, 2, 4 and 6. Okay, and this is our fast API instance. Okay, and I already explained these things. Okay guys, if you don't know, please go and watch my previous video. Now I need to minimize this. Okay, and I need to close this. Okay, so here I'm going to create, means I'm going to create post API. So here this is post and this is the path name slash users. Okay, and here I'm going to create underscore user. Okay, and here I'm going to pass user colon as a parameter. What I'm going to pass schema. Okay, so this is our schema.py. Okay, so I'm going to use this file name schema. Okay, schemas and schema dot. I'm going to access this user create. Okay, for creating the user. Okay, now here I need to use common. Now I am going to use db colon session. Okay, I use this. dv colon session is equals to depends equals to get dv. I'm going to use it from dependency. Okay, this one, get dv. And here colons. Okay, now I'm going to convert patentic model into ORM model. Okay, so here I'm going to write dv underscore user. This is the variable name. Okay, user equals to models dot user, capital U ser user. And here I'm going to pass what? Here I'm going to pass this. Okay, username name equals to. Okay, so here you can see dv user equals to model. I'm going to use this model. Okay, models, and inside the model I have user id, I mean user table. Okay, and here inside this I have email name and ages. Okay, so I'm going to use this thing. Okay, from model I use, from model and user class I'm going to use name. Okay, user dot name, email id, user dot email id, sorry. Okay, age equals to user age. Okay, and now I am going to add to the database session. Okay, so here dv dot add dv underscore user. Okay, this user. Now we are going to update this. Okay, dv dot add add user. Okay, now I'm going to commit dv dot commit, save to the database. Okay, and here get update data id from dv. Okay, so here I'm going to refresh dv dot refresh. Here what I'm going to refresh dv underscore user. Okay, and it will return same dv user. Okay, so here I need to fix this. Okay, now it is okay. I need to save this. Okay guys, so this is our post API. Okay, this is the path. Okay, and this is the function name. Okay, I'm going to use schema from this one. Okay, and I'm going to use class from here schema. Okay, and I'm going to use dv session. Okay, and I'm going to use this. Okay, by using dependency, this file. Okay, and here dv user equals to model. So this is our model file. Okay, inside this I have user table. Okay, and user table we have name, email id and ages. Okay, now I'm going to add this into our database. Okay, now after adding I'm going to save by using dv.commit. Okay, and get the updated data. Okay, by using this command. Okay, id from dv. Okay, and then return dv user. I hope you got it. So this is our post API. Now I am going to use get API. Okay, so here you can see I paste it. Okay, app.get. Okay, and this is the path. Okay, here this is the function def get user. Okay, and here I use dv session equals to depends. Okay, dv session equals to depend get dv. So I'm going to use this dependency.py file to get dv. Okay, and here I'm going to return dv.query model.users. Okay, so I'm going to return here model dot users, what we have in model dot users table. Okay, so here model dot, I mean model, this is the file name, and user means table, and we have these column inside this table. Okay, so it will everything. Okay, that's why I add here all. Okay. Okay guys, now I am going to create our put API. Okay, so here I'm going to write at the rate, okay, not at the rate, decorator. Okay, app dot put, and here inside this I'm going to write path. Okay, that is users, and here I'm going to pass user ID. Okay, user underscore ID, and here I'm going to define one function, that is update user. Okay, here user underscore id, I'm giving parameter. Okay, here, so user underscore id should be an integer. Okay, and here user underscore schema. Okay guys, I'm going to use this schema here. Okay, and it's this class. Okay, user schema dot user create. Okay, and here dv session. Okay, dv, and here I'm going to write session. Okay, I'm going to use what? I'm going to use by using dependency. I'm going to use here get dv function. Okay, this one. Okay, from dependency. Okay, this one. Okay, okay guys, so this is our update API. Okay, if you want to update any user. Okay, here I already add schema means this. Okay, no. Okay, here if not dv underscore user. Okay, then it will raise the error. HTTP exception. Okay, here I'm going to write a status code. Status underscore code equals to 404. Okay guys, if user not found in a db, okay, then it will raise this error, HTTP exception. Okay, with this code. Okay, and in detail you got that user not found. Okay, user not found. Okay, now so here okay, I need to fix this. Okay, so this is the dv user name. Okay, oh I did mistake, it should be users. No, it is user. Oh guys, I did one mistake. Okay, I forget to write one line here. Okay, so here I need to write code for dv user. Okay, so here dv underscore user. Okay, so here dv dot query. So here 1 minute. Okay, I need to paste it. So here you can see dv underscore user equals to dv dot query. Okay, so we are going to use models user. Okay, in model file I have users. Okay, and I applied filter. Okay, here model user id is equals to user id, and we got first. Okay, now you can see this API put. Oh, I did mistake here. I need to use one more slash. Okay, so what is this API doing? This API update an existing user using the using their user id. Okay, using their user id. So we are not creating a new user, we are modifying an old user. Okay, here you can see app.put users. Okay, and user id. Okay, so that's why we are going to update user by using their user id. Okay, and this is the function name. Okay, so user id taken, this user id taken from the url. Okay, for example, like this, put user slash 3. 3 is the user id. Okay, FastAPI convert this user id into integer automatically. Okay, when new data comes from request body, here you can see update user. Okay, so new data come from request body. Okay, new data come from request body. So here you can see user schema. Okay, new data come from request body. Okay, client send, like for example, client send json data. Okay, or you can say new data come from request body, or you can say client send json data. That json automatically validated by the pydantic. Okay, that it is that name is Amit. Okay, for example, and email is the amit@gmail.com. Okay, and age is the 28. Okay, so name should be in string, email should be in string. Okay, age should be in integer. Okay, so it is used to validate the data. Okay, so I use schema here. This is our schema file. Okay, and here I use user create. Okay, and here dv session. Okay, find user in database. Okay, so I'm going to find user inside the database by using this line. Okay, dv session. Okay, so dv user. Okay, here this is line where I'm going to find out the user inside the database. Okay, so you can see dv dot query model dot users. Okay, and filter, it will filter models dot user id equals to user id first. Okay, so search user table. Okay, and find row with given id. Okay, if not found, okay, it will return 404. If user not found in dv, it will give you error 404. Okay, if id doesn't exist, return proper rest error. Don't update imaginary user. Okay, so now it will update these value, update dot name. I mean here dv user dot name. Okay, so it will update name, email, and age from the data by using database. Okay, so change the value in ORM object SQL alchemy track changes. Now we are going to save this in a database. Okay, actually writes change to dv. Okay, so here we are going to save this into dv without committing. Okay, without committing, no update. Okay, if you are going to commit, then it will update it. Okay, and return dv user. Okay, user which I have in my dv. Okay, so send updated data back to the client and FastAPI convert to the JSON. Okay, so this API takes user ID from the URL and find that user in database. Update their details. Okay, like request body, and save changes and return the updated user. I hope you got it. This is our update API. Okay, and this is our get API. Okay, it will read all info, I mean all the user from your database. Okay, here. You can see return db.query model.user and it will return all users. And this is our post API. Okay, so if you want to create some user, okay, this is the function. Here I'm going to use schema that if somebody enter, okay, if someone want to create some data or some user, okay. Now you can see here, this is our post API. I'm going to explain again. Okay, so this API create new user and save it into a database. Okay, so here you can see app, post and user. Okay, post is used to create a new resources, and okay, and user, this one slash user means we are creating new user. Okay, this one we are going to create new user. Okay, and here you can see in request body in function what we have, schema. Okay, request body we have user data. Okay, so client send JSON data, client send JSON data in request body. Okay, pydantic valid input. Okay, that is, it is in a correct format or not. Okay, so I use schema from here. Okay, and this is a class. I already explained this lot, I mean many time. Okay, after this is for db session. Okay, and now here you can see db session depend get db. So fast API inject db session here, handle opening and closing connection. This is for closing and opening the connection. Okay, and here you can see I'm going to create ORM. Okay, by using this db user. Okay, so here I'm going to create Python object of the user model. Okay, this is the user model. Okay, this is not yet saved to the db. Okay, and here after this we add to the session db dot add user here. Okay, db dot add db user. So it tell SQL alchemy, okay, track this new object, still not in db. Okay, and db.commit means actually insert row into database. Okay, without committing, nothing saved. And here you can see refresh object db.refresh db user. So reload the data from db and get auto generated field like id. Okay, and return db user, it means return created user as a response. Okay, fast API convert it into a JSON. Okay guys, so this API take user data, create a new user object and save it into a database and return the save user. I hope you got it. Okay, and we are going to create this thing, like if you are going to create any user, so user have name, age, everything. Okay, you can see here, this is our table. Here we don't have anything, this is empty. Okay, so here I'm going to run this file. Okay, this one I'm going to exit. I'm going to reopen this file. I need to save this. Okay, so now I am going to click on this link. Okay, here I need to search docs. Okay, so you can see here I got my three APIs. Okay, first is first is post. So we are looking at post also. This is our post API. Okay, so initially we don't have any data inside our database. Okay, here I'm going to oh, where is it? Here I'm going to click here in post. Okay, I'm going to try it on. Okay, I'm going to fill name, that is Nidhi, email address nidhi at gmail.com. Okay, so here you can see this is path. Okay, now I am going to click here on execute. Okay, so you can see I got this in request body. Nidhi@gmail.com, age 30 and ID is 1. Response body. Okay, so what we return here? DB user. Okay, so which field I have in DB user? Name, email, and age. Okay, and I also have ID. Okay, this one. Now I'm going to check here in DB. I'm going to refresh it. Okay, so you can see I got data. ID, Nidhi, and Nidhi's email. Nidhi@gmail.com and age 30. Okay, we can create another data. Okay, by using this API. So here I'm going to create Sachin. Sachin@gmail.com. Age of Sachin 50. Okay, I'm going to click here. Okay, you can see everything here in response body. I got 200 because of status. Our status is successful. Sachin@gmail.com. Age 50. ID number 2. Okay, so here you can see this is our endpoint and this is a path. Okay, after path I have this ID. Okay, ID number. Okay, we can use ID here if I am going to search or if I'm going to update the user. Okay, so I'm going to refresh again. Okay, so here, oh, what happening? So you can see I got user information, second user information. Okay, now what? Now we can check our get API. Okay, so here after post I am going to use our get API. Okay, so this is the path users, this one users. Now I am going to try it out. I'm going to execute here. Okay, you can see this is our endpoint and user. Okay, and you can see I have two users in our database. Okay, so it is showing you only two users. Okay, so get API are used for read the data from your database. Okay, or from your data whatever you have in data. Okay, and post API used for create. Okay, here this is a endpoint. Okay guys, and you can see status is 200 means we got successful result. Now we can use put. Okay, so here in put I need to enter user ID. So this is our third API, that is this one, put user. Okay, so here after you can see this is the path. Here I need to use user ID like this 3 2 1. Okay, so here I'm going to click here, try it out. Here I'm going to enter one user ID. Okay, in one user ID what I'm going to change? Okay, so I can change here. In one user ID I have Nidhi name, email address Nidhi, and age 30. Okay, nidhi@gmail.com in email address. So here I'm going to search. I'm going to change this in a Rani. Name is Rani. Email is rani@gmail.com. Okay, and Rani says is 20. Okay, guys. So here you can see name, email, and age. Okay, so here I use schema. You can see here I use schema. This schema used to validate. Okay, that this name I am entering Rani. Okay, this Rani is integer or 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 string. Okay, so with the help of pydantic schema, okay, it will identify that it is correct or not. If it is not, it will automatically reject by this schema. Okay, you can see here I already wrote here name should be in string, email should be string, age should be in integer. Okay, so these things we are going to verify by using this schema. Okay, that you are going to enter by using by using this. Okay, if it is wrong or right. Okay, now you can see here this is our endpoint request URL. Okay, okay, this is the port number and this is for local, and this is the user. So here I have user, this is our user, and this is user ID. Okay, and I'm going to update these things. I already update these things, name, email, and age. Okay, so I update where name, email address. Here you can see email address and age. So I'm going to check here I got or not. 1 minute, I need to fix one thing here. Okay, you can see I got Rani and Rani updated. Name Rani instead of Nidhi and email address rani@gmail.com and Rani says is 20. Okay, but I got here what? Empty in response body. So what we have in our response body? I wrote here DB user. 1 minute, I'm going to check. So this is, you can see, response body is empty dictionary. Okay, so why you are getting this empty dictionary as a response? DB user, this one, this DB user here, where is this DB user? Okay, this DB user is a SQL alchemy ORM object. FastAPI plus PyIdentic does not automatically serialize ORM object. So without the response model, okay, plus ORM model, FastAPI return empty dictionary. Without response model and without ORM model, FastAPI return empty dictionary. Okay, so DB now DB is updated, response serialization is broken. Okay, so I'm going to, what I'm going to do now? Okay, so here in schema I need to change. Okay, here I have id equals to integer. Okay, and here I need to create one class. This one class equals to config. Okay, and here ORM model, ORM underscore model is equals to true. Okay, so this model can read data from the ORM model. Okay, this is used to read the data from ORM model. Now, now we are going back here inside this. Okay, in user response model. So here I need to write one line. Okay, here after db commit I'm going to write db dot refresh. Okay, I already have this. I need to copy this and I need to paste this here only. Okay, okay guys, so here I need to save this. So ORM model is equals to true here in schema.py. ORM model equals to true. Without this, Pydantic ignore ORM attributes. Okay, so that's why I need to write ORM model equals to true. Otherwise, it will be ignore. Okay, without this, Pydantic ignore ORM attributes. db.refresh, here I have db.refresh. Okay, this reload the latest value from db before returning. Okay, so I need to change one line also. Okay, so response type equals to unknown object, no response model and no RM. FastAPI response type equals to unknown object. Okay, and FastAPI no response model. Okay, and FastAPI no ORM serialization rule. So that's why I got so empty object. So I got so empty object because FastAPI response type equals to unknown object, no response model and no ORM serialization rules. Okay, so I need to change one line also here. Now it is correct. Okay, or here we can also write. No, I don't need to write anything. Okay, now we are going to save it. Okay, and then need to check here. Okay, I'm going to refresh. Again I'm going to use id number 1. Okay, and then I'm going to fill in Here I want to see, okay, what I have in ID number once, and here this is user table. So I have Rani and Rani at the okay. So here in this I'm going to enter, instead of Rani here, Mohina, mohi at gmail.com. Okay, and age is 10. Now you can see I got details in a response body. Mohina, mohi at the rate gmail.com, age 20 and 10, and ID is 1. Okay, here you can go and refresh this. Okay, and also refresh this table. Okay, you can see I got Mohina. Okay, and her email ID and age. Okay guys, so you can see I got everything in my response body. Okay, and status code is 200. Okay, and this is the ID, user ID. Okay guys, now it is perfectly working, and this is the status code if you are writing wrong. Okay, if you are enter anything wrong, okay, like ID I am giving here ID number 5. Okay, actually we don't have any ID, that is 5 here. Okay, we only have 2 IDs. So I'm going to run this, it will give you error. Okay, so you can see here I got error, user not found. Okay, so in error what we have, user not found detail. Okay, and status code is 404. So here you can see status code is 404. Okay, this user number 5 is not found in our database. Okay, okay guys, so this is DB connection. I mean this session are used for closing and open the DB session. Okay, I hope you got it. This is our post API, and this is our get API, and this is our put API. Okay, now I am going to create one API, that is delete. Okay, now we are going to create, I already said that, what, delete API. Okay, so here I'm going to define one, I'm going to create one decorator, and here delete. I'm going to pass here user, and here also I need to write slash, and here I'm going to put what, user ID. So this is used to remove the users in your database. Okay, so that's why we are going to create delete API. Okay, so after this I need to write what, user ID comma, oh here inside this I need to give space here for readability, and here I'm going to write a status code. You can also use status for post API also, and here status code, status underscore code, status code equals to status dot http. Here I'm going to use 204 no content, no underscore, no underscore content. Oh, it should be in, okay guys, status dot http 2004 no content status. Okay, so first of all I need to import status here from fast API. I'm going to import response Oh, response and status. Now, now I am going to define one function, delete user underscore user. Okay, here I am going to pass user ID, user underscore ID, that should be an integer. Okay, and dv session, this is our dv session. Okay, dv session, I'm going to use depend. Inside this file I have this get db. Okay, get underscore db. So why we use this, I already told you multiple time why we use this. Okay, so this is the dependency injection give db connection. Okay, now I'm going to write colons after this. Okay, after this I'm going to create db underscore users. Okay, and here db dot query. So here db underscore user. Okay, you can see db dot query. Okay, so we have these user inside our db. Okay, so I'm going to filter. Okay, model dot user dot filter. Okay, by their id. Okay, so we are going to look here for user by id. Okay, if you are going to enter any user id while deleting, okay, we can delete by using user id if anybody or anyone enter by using swagger ui. Okay, or while you are going to test api. Okay, or like if you don't want this user in your database, and you can enter the user id that I don't want to user number 5. Okay, so you can enter 5 by using ui here, or by using api, any like postman, by using postman from anywhere. Okay, so here like here I have user id 5. Okay, I'm going to enter 5, or I'm going to check here this user id is equals to uh, in database user id, but I don't have any 5 id number 5 user id inside the database. Okay, so it will give you this error. Okay, if not db user, then it will raise the error if user not present in db. Okay, so it will give you http error, http exception error. Okay, here I'm going to write status code. So status underscore code, I'm going to use 404. Okay, for not found. And here in detail it is giving you user not found. Okay, so if user don't exist, it return 404. Okay, and if user exists inside the db. Okay, if I'm going to enter user id 1. Okay, but 1 is present here in database. Okay, then it will delete it. How we are going to delete this? Okay, how? So we can delete it by using this line db dot delete. Okay, and here inside this I'm going to pass this user. Okay, if id match, okay, then they are going to delete this user. Okay, if user id is equals to id we have in a database. Okay, if both are equal, then we can delete db user. Okay, and here I'm going to commit db dot commit that it can save. Okay, then I'm going to return response. I'm going to return response status code status underscore code equals to status dot http 204 no content. Okay, so it will return the response status code http 204 no content. Okay, now guys, I did mistake. Okay, I need to write response R should be capital. Okay, like this. Okay, now we are going to check where I did mistake. Okay, status code. Oh, I did a spelling mistake here. It should be content. Okay, here should be content content. Okay, and here also I need to check. This is details. No content. This is right. Okay, this is also details. Okay, and I need to check my schema also. Oh, this is ORM modes, not models. Okay, now it is perfectly correct. I'm going here, guys. I did it. It is a detail, not a details. Okay. Okay, so this is our API. We can also use response here, response model. Okay, so we will use response model also after some time. Okay, before we need to understand this. Okay, so here what you can see, I have db.delete. Okay, delete user and db.commit. It marks object for deletion and commit remove from commit remove row from your database. Okay, so wait a minute. Okay, so this API delete a user, its API used for deletes a user from the database using their ID. Okay, and this line delete is used to remove the data, and here you can see user ID. So identify which user to be deleted by using this user ID. Okay, and this function, this is status code for giving you error. Okay, and this function, okay, define user delete user. Okay, so here we have user ID. So user ID come from the path. Okay, and convert automatically into integer. Okay, and this is a DB session for DB connection. Okay, so it is, you can say, in dependency injection for given DB connections. Okay, and this one DB user, it is used for user, it is used for look user inside the database by using their user ID. Okay, looks for user by user ID. Okay, looks for user by ID. So this line, with the help of this line, we can find out user ID inside the database. Okay, and this is for if user is don't exist in a database, then it will give you error. with 404 and detail user not found. Okay, and here this one, if user don't exist, it return 404. Okay, and here delete and commit. Okay, so it marks object for deletion. Okay, and this one commit remove row from db. Okay, and it will return response 202 no content. Okay guys. Okay guys, so I'm going to use response model in our post API. Okay, so this is our post API. So here I'm going to use response model. After this I need to write response, this one, response r should be in small, response underscore model. Okay, response underscore model equals to schemas dot user response. Okay, so this is a user response from this file schema, and I import this user response here in this line. Okay, this one, and here status code I am going to write status underscore code equals to status dot http 201 created. Okay, it will give you 201 for creating. Okay, and here this is same user schema create user dv session dependent get dv. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what is a user, what is a response, what is it. Okay, so here I'm going to, after update the post API, I also need to update our get API. Okay, so here I need to copy this. Okay, and here in get API, here after user I need to write comma, and here I need to paste response model. Okay, but like it is used for read. Okay, so I want everything in list. Okay, so that's why I use list here. Okay, user schema, user response. Now here also I'm going to use response model. Okay, so here I need to write comma. Okay, after user id, after user id I write comma here. Okay, and paste response model equals to schema user response. Okay guys, so here I finish everything. So here why we use response model. Okay, so if we are not going to use response model, so without it fast API may return empty dictionary where data or raw SQL alchemy object. Okay, that JSON doesn't understand properly. That's exactly what you were seeing. Okay, here I'm going to use response model because what client send to the API, it is called the request model. Okay, and what API send back to the client, that is called the response model. Response model means what API send back to the client. Response model means what API send back to the client. This is called the response model. And request model, what client send to the API. Okay, in request model client send to the API, and in response model API send back to the client. Now we are going to check this on UI, Swagger UI. Okay, I'm going to save this by using Control S, and here I need to refresh this document, Swagger documentation. Okay, and it will show you what we have in my MySQL database. Okay, so this is our get API. Okay, I have Mohina and Sachin inside this our MySQL database in this table. Okay, and here you can see I have status code 200 means successful. And after this I have post API. Okay, so we can create one more field. Okay, here I'm going to write Ram, and ram@gmail.com, and age of Ram, that is 45. Okay, I'm going to execute. So it is showing you 201. Status code 201 means created. Okay, so I have I have in my code. Okay, status code 201 means created. Okay, user successfully created. Okay, and this is the response body. Okay, and you can see I'm going to refresh this. I got another user, that Ram. Username is Ram. Okay, now we are going to check our put API. Okay, I'm going to enter ID number 3. Okay, so this is our ID number 3, Ram, this one. So here I'm going to update this ID with name Ankit, and email ID anku@gmail.com, and age of Ankit 10 years. Okay, so here you can see I got Ankit and Anku at gmail.com in response body, means it is going to be updated. It is updated. Okay, here I'm going to check. Now Ram become Ankit. Okay, and now I am going to delete. Okay, here you can say user and user ID. So here in this code I have this user, this one, user and user ID. So I'm going to delete this user by using their ID. Okay, so here I'm going to click here and try on. Here I'm going to enter any ID. Okay, I am going to delete this ID. Okay, so here you can see if I'm going to enter here user ID. Okay, this user ID is equals to user ID which I have inside this. Okay, if both are equal, then user will be deleted. Okay, I'm going to click at here. You can say user and user number 1. Okay, so here user and user ID 1 is going to delete. Here. Okay, now you can see response code is 204. Okay, so it is giving, it is correct. Okay, response header, because I sent this in response. Status code no content. Okay, so that's why it is not giving anything. So after this I got 204 here in response body. Okay, and if you are enter wrong ID, okay, like I have ID number 5. Okay, you can see here I don't have ID number 5. Okay, so it will automatically show you user not found. Okay, this one, user not found, this line will execute if user not found, if user ID not found. Okay, So here I already delete one id, okay, id number 1. Okay, so here we can see after searching, okay, after refresh we can see here is id number is present here or not. Okay, so you can see here id number 1 is deleted. Okay, or you can delete another id also. You can fill here 3. Okay, now you can see here I have 3, Ankit and anku@gmail.com. Now I am going to click here in execute. Okay, so id number 3 deleted now. Okay, I'm going to refresh this database. Okay, and here refresh the table. So id number 3 is also delete. Okay guys, and if you want to update id that is not present in our data, so it will give you what? I'm going to click here. I just update this avc and avc, but we don't have id number 6 upon data. Okay, we only have id number 2. Okay, by using put. So here you can see user not find, it is giving you 404 error. Okay, so here input I have 404 error. So guys, I hope you got it everything, and you can see here in terminal also we got our status code. Okay, so with the help of CRUD operation I have finished our APIs, post API, get API, okay, put API and delete API, delete user. Okay, I also use session, schema, okay, model, schema and dependency. Okay guys, now see you in next topic. Right now we are creating table using base.metadata.createAll function. Okay, which is fine for learning, but in real project we never do this. Okay, we use Alembic for database migration. Okay, Alembic keeps track of database changes over time. Okay, so today I add a column age and tomorrow I remove the email. Okay, Alembic remember all changes. Okay, so that's why we use Alembics for production purpose. Okay,